Do we have the most amazing talent you've ever been a part of in our AV team? And just the talent is absolutely amazing. Wow. Let's just say it together. Wow. Ah. In the words of one of my inspirations, Kunte. I love this church. So all of us remember how fun it was when we would play hide and seek. And we'd gather together and come up with somewhat of a plan, and we would appoint one person the it of the group. And we would decide how long it would count while we would go and find our prospective hiding places, you see. And in a little while, you would hear the voice from it, ready or not, here I come. You know, and you'd kind of visualize yourself getting even smaller than you already were, right? The joy of hide and seek. What I want to talk about today is I want to ask you the question, in what areas of your life are you hiding? Because if we're going to talk about conversations of an influencer, we want to address the layers, consciously or unconsciously, the influencing energy that is still keeping you hidden in some way and somehow. If we are a teaching where we believe that nothing or no one is against us, and we believe that, and we practice that, right? Then events that happen in our life, happenstances, situations, circumstances, being caught off guard, is the best thing that can ever happen to us, because it is an indicator that on some level we are hiding, and therefore that event, that person, that moment, that experience is to wake us up out of our comfortable hiding place. Are you with me? Are you with me? And so that is part of that journey, is that in those layers, and it could be so subtle to you that you're not even recognizing it. You become so polished at your word and your conversation and your degree and your credentialing that you're not even noticing it. So I really want you to work inwardly this week as you journal. In what areas am I hiding? Ask the question out loud. In what areas am I hiding? Because that is what life brings us. Life brings us the opportunity to look at what is still wanting to unfold. In 1973, I was so excited because I had somewhat survived middle school. And middle school, and they survived me, probably more importantly. But that being said, thank you. Thank you for the laugh. I really appreciate you. That was a tough time because they were blending our schools. And so having the history that I had and having the relationships that I had had with the nanny and otherwise, and members of our family that we called them that, the black people that we called them that, is that when they blended the schools, I thought, well, it's about time. You know, we've been like, it's about time my people are here. You know, I have my people, I feel more whole, I feel more complete. And I was so excited because one of my best friends, Carolyn, invited me to come to her wedding. And it was going to be an all-black wedding, and they made that clear. And I was so honored. I was like, gosh, I've made it in the club. Oh my God. I mean, they get me that I'm like them. We're the same, and I felt so special. And then I got contacted by Grandmother Southern Baptist Headquarters. And she invited me over for a chat. And she went on to tell me that I wasn't going to that wedding, that it was inappropriate, and that I'd probably not recover from it, and my reputation was important. And I love you, Temple, and I love you, Temple Ann, because they would say that if they were upset. So you're not able to go. And, well, people are going to talk about you. Now, you know I went to that wedding. Hello? Because I didn't want to be in hiding. Because I thought it was one of the most ridiculous things I had ever witnessed at that time, aside from, going to hell for being gay. But that's another talk for another time. But I just thought, this is just absolutely appalling. Oh, you're saying, well, we can play with you at home, but we can't play with you out loud? Are you kidding me? What kind of spirituality is that? That we can play in here, but we can't play out there? Absolutely not. And I learned early on, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. And by play the game, I'm talking about, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you use your consciousness. It's how you come out of hiding. It's how you're willing to line up with your life and be congruent. It's how you're willing to still take those simple acts that wind up those random acts of kindness that have a domino effect that transcend the planet. We cannot say that we are here for the world if we don't get that every one of us are platted, polka-dotted, striped, black, red, blue, green, transgender, not gender, whatever. We are all that inside of each and every one of us. We are all those things because we are made of the evolutionary God that continues to create over and over again. Yes, that is part of our being. I have said many times that my mother thought enough to stretch so I could be born. Let me continue to stretch so I can continue to be born time and time and time again. Your whole story isn't about just your birthing story. It's how you are born over and over again as an adult, as a young person, of the new awarenesses that you have, so the real you continues to be created and molded into what you are. That is what it is about, you see. And that is that energetic presence and energy and power. I love the story of Siddhartha, that Siddhartha was a very wealthy young man. He was chosen to be king. He was married to a princess. And he just felt like in his life, though on the appearance he had things that people thought were important, he thought, how can I be a king and serve a world that I've never seen? How can I live behind my walls? And how can I justify that over there behind those walls that I actually know what's going on when I don't? When I don't. That's why it's wonderful, New Thought people. We get together, we have popcorn, we have tea, we love each other, we tell each other we're so sweet and kind and wonderful and dynamic. But outside of the walls is where we need to be living and preaching and teaching and not hiding that, you see. We don't need any more ministers toning their message down. We don't need any more teachers being imprinted by who makes their paycheck. We don't need any more people holding back, telling you it's not okay to make noise and live full out. Please, Louise, step out of it. Step out of those spaces of hiding. The largest human frailty is being held back by the need to be belonging, to belong. And people say, well, you mention that in your talks a lot. Well, first of all, thank you for paying attention. But second of all, how many of you this very week thought about going a different direction because of what someone thinks? I know you. I'm psychic. Until we clear that, we will mention that some way every week. Because the emerging self is unedited. The emerging self learns to say, It's not easy for me to say this, and I feel I'm the one to say it. Right? It's that level. And it was when Siddhartha then had told his mom, I'm here to transform suffering. I need to see what suffering looks like, as he saw the aged person, as he saw the priest that was the monk, as he saw the corpse, as he saw those things. What are we doing in our society today when we have people putting their parents in homes that they go visit once a year? Absolutely unacceptable. Whatever happened to it's not okay if children live with their grandparents and that's considered a home? When did that become not appropriate, for goodness sakes? How do we feel when we are justifying in communities elders up there on the 11th floor and the 12th floor and no one coming to see them? Well, let us pay more money so you can go play bingo. Forget about it. You understand what I'm saying? Because we want to teach our children, our adults, our elders at any age that we are not prejudiced, we are not judgmental, we are not any of that. When people say they follow Jesus, what part? What part? What part? Because if you're leading from your heart, do not misrepresent our brother. Do not represent that teaching. I had a conference call with my brothers, and they don't watch online, so that's good. Maybe they'll start. Anyway, I had and I love them, so don't get into your head about that and me. But anyway, I got to get back on track, Chris. I'm going. I told them that my mom, it had been a long time since she had lived here already, and a number of the grandchildren had yet to call her. And they're like, well, what would you want us to do? We can't tell them what to do. And I said, well, God will guide you in what to do. But I'll tell you this, what you are allowing to be okay, I want you to picture it 30 years from now. You're going to be that person like my mother, and what you have told them is and taught them is the results that you're going to be getting. How does that work for you? And don't forget that she changed your diaper for almost 3 years. Please. But this is the kind of stuff that we just say, we live our truth. We're not responsible for what people do with it. We're responsible to the fact that we're willing to call it. And I get called on my stuff too. I mean, I have a very strong personality I live with at home, if you haven't noticed. And we want that, you see. We want to get called on our energy. You know, I think of the woman at the well, the Good Samaritan. I think of Jesus interacting with her when that wasn't appropriate. They weren't supposed to connect with each other. That was not allowed. And I think about when he reached out to her and said, could you get me some water? Could you get me some water? And in that moment, he was creating a space that they could come together with the fluidity of life. And, you know, Jesus was the greatest shaman that ever lived. And so as he sat in her energy field, he could say, I see all those people you were married to before. I see all about your past. Oh, yeah, I see it. You know, I do soul retrieval too, but that's why most people don't come to me, because they don't want me to see all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, okay. Anyway, in that space, you see, that's what he did. He did a soul retrieval. He retrieved her by telling her that your well will never run dry. He retrieved her, said, draw from the Christ consciousness well. You won't ever run out that way. Draw from that place. Don't live life from your head. Don't live life in hiding. Live life from your heart, because you'll always have more from your well. Your well can handle being hurt. Your well can handle being invalidated. Your well can handle a disappointment, because it's growing you to understand how to be one of the enlightened healers of the world. That's what it's about. Not about, oh, I'm never going to fall in love again because last time I fell and I never got up and I'll never recover and I'm so tired and I'm so old and I think I'm dead, but I'm still alive, but I'm still talking. You get a boo-boo, baby, jump back in. Mm-mm. There's one thing you need to be more concerned about. The fact that you're hurting yourself every day by hiding your heart. We want to see it. We want to feel it. We want to witness it. We want to be energized by it. We want to be transformed by it. And it is the heart that activates the soul's mission for the world. That's what it does, you see? It's like that woman was having a dream, and this great big green dragon was chasing her, and she's running, and the dragon's coming after her faster, and all of a sudden the dragon grabs hold of her, and she goes, oh my gosh, what are you going to do with me? What are you going to do with me? And the dragon said, I don't know, lady. It's your dream. It's your dream. It's your dream. Slay your dragons. They're just made up stuff. They're an opinion of someone. They're a feeling. They're a belief. Like my grandmother, we cleared it up later in the afterlife, but they're just stuff that hold us, put us in bondage instead of freedom, energetic presence. I love the true story of little Jimmy that was so excited because his uncle Alfonso was coming over, and he was a well-known guitar player in Alabama. And he was really excited to introduce him to one of his classmates because he had told his classmate about his uncle, and his classmate had an old guitar and thought he wanted to learn how to play it. He said, well, you can come and be with my family. This is so exciting. Well, they get to the door, and the aunt and uncle look out, and they go, he's not allowed here. He comes from the wrong side of the tracks. He's from the trash group, and he can't come in the house. So Uncle Alfonso said to Jimmy, well, we'll just take your friend and we'll just do it outside. No big deal. So he tunes the young man's guitar. He shows him how to do a few chords. And 30 million records later, Elvis Presley went back to that school and thanked that young man for bringing his heart to their awareness. You see, Shirley MacLaine says that we don't make mistakes. Mistakes make us. We don't make mistakes. Mistakes make us. It's okay if you clap, we're church. So being made with not only the opening, but the solution of what needs to happen. I think of this beautiful story I heard about a young college student that his professor, they were all in a room somewhat like this, and the professor said, some of you go and introduce yourself to someone new. And so this young 19-year-old goes walking up to this woman, and he looks, and she has very wrinkled hands and a very wrinkled face. And, oh, hi, my name is Tom. What's your name? My name is Rose. He said, well, Rose, what are you doing in the class? She said, oh, as an 87-year-old woman, I'm here to marry a rich man, be very wealthy, have a few kids, and I'm going to get myself the finest sports car. And he laughed. He said, no, Rose, really, what is it that you're going to do? And she said, I always wanted my college degree, and I'm here to get it. And so she went on to be such a good friend in his life, and she said, Tom, people don't get old and stop playing. They stop playing and they get old. People get old because they live in regrets. People get old because they're waiting on the one day that never comes, rather than it being this day, about the right day right now. And she went on to graduate with honors of who she was and how she had impacted all of those kids. And at the commencement, she stood up and thanked everybody. And then she said, you know, my name is Rose. And I love that song. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never takes the chance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never learns to dance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give. And the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. Sing it with me. It's the heart afraid of waking that never takes a chance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never learns to dance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give. And the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. Peace. Many blessings. Peace.